Liverpool get by, Arsenal fly high, and the Blues stutter out of the gates. Welcome to episode 3 of the Bend It Like Bentner podcast. We are now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. I'm joined by Joey,
Hello.
Tyler,
What's up?
and Cutter.
Yo, yo.
So, as you guys know, today we're going to be talking about last weekend's games, and if we have enough time, maybe going over next weekend's game. So, I think we should start with Arsenal Fulham, given that that was the uh, first game on the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, did anyone else wake up at 7 a.m. or was it just me out of the four of us?
I did not.
Fulham were
Nah,
horrible. Like, they were garbage, bro. Like, there, there's been some bad teams I've seen in the Prem, but this Fulham team might be one of the worst I've ever seen.
Did their
Arsenal did what?
did their striker have anything to do? Like they started Kamara, right, at striker.
Yeah, he
Did he
did
do
nothing,
anything?
bro. He just he'd get the ball, he'd come inside, and he just looked clumsy on the ball. He looked like how like Musa Dembele like moves on the ball, like it just looks super
Yeah.
super clumsy. He moves like
Uh-huh.
that on the ball, except he just lost it over and over again.
Oh, okay.
mm,
The only player I thought was decent, both fullbacks played all right. Brian and Nadoy. Um, the midfield was kind of fluent. Onama, Kearney, and Reed, but like they weren't really doing anything. It was just dead. Like there was nothing being produced. It was just such a boring game. And then
Did anything happen when Mitrovic came on or no?
I don't think he even touched the ball. Like genuinely,
Oh
did
wow.
absolutely nothing. Like when I tell you this game, it was so one-sided. It was just casual possession in the midfield from Fulham. They get to Arsenal's back line, just lose the ball over and over and over again. I will say, shout out El Neni. He was my man of the match. He played amazing. I didn't,
damn, El Nani,
bro.
he's back in the fold.
Yeah, dude. He played so well. Like on the ball, bro. I don't know what his passing percentage was. Let me go look that up because he was he had 95% passing accuracy. Like,
Damn.
he played so well. Uh, William and
Huh,
Lacazette looked decent as well, but
yeah, I was gonna ask about William because last podcast I got kind of flamed for saying William was better than Pepe, and then he actually did good.
well, he was just the issue was they're playing against Fulham, and Fulham looked like the worst team
Yeah.
I've ever seen in my life.
So you don't put any stock in the game at all.
Oh, I don't put any stock in the game. After watching that game, I could say Fulham not winning the game the entire season. Like they were that bad. They
Okay. But it's still good to dominate a bad team. Like you have to do what you
no,
have to
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. I give them respect for that. But Fulham was horrible.
I don't know. I'm just not a fan of Arsenal. I think
Uh,
they're garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
Willie nearly got a hat trick of assist, right? He had the only one that he didn't get assist on. He shot and it deflected right to Lacazette. No.
yes, pretty sure, right? Yes, yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he hit the post.
hmm
Wow.
I had to remind myself not to be happy, bro. I was still in that Chelsea mindset,
Uh,
and,
how
and
old
they
is he?
were wearing
32.
the blue jerseys. I had to remind myself.
I
Yeah,
believe
But
we should remind the viewers what the score was.
3-0.
3-0, Tyler. Yeah, goals for
does
Gabriel.
Aubameyang have a new contract yet? Did that get
Yeah.
wrapped up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Confirmed today to 2023.
Yeah, GG for
Bro,
that,
that
man.
that goal was amazing, bro. He earned that contract.
Yeah.
Did I
100%.
know Gabriel played. Did Saliba play too? Like who was in the back? Because that's normally Arsenal's Achilles heel.
It was Holding, Gabriel, and Tierney. Tierney, I'm not really big on Tierney. He was kind of for me like the worst player. I don't know, like a bunch of people hype him
Oh
up,
really?
but every time I watch him play, he looks scared on the ball. He was like the one
hmm
weak point in that back line. I like Maitland-Niles played good, Bellerin played good. Holding and Gabriel were solid. But Tierney just looked shaky. I don't know if it's just me, but I was kind of like focusing watching him, and like every time he got the ball, he just looked nervous. Like he looked like he didn't know what to do on the ball. I don't know. That
Wow.
game and
Yeah.
the last game I watched him play, I'm just not super big on Tierney. Like he's very
Mm.
solid defensively, but he just looks clumsy on the ball. Similar to someone else I want to talk about in a later game. But I
Yeah.
don't know. I thought
I think
Arsenal performed well enough. They deserved to win. Fulham was
okay.
horrible. They're finishing bottom three, no matter what. They were so garbage.
They have the rest of the league to go up, bro.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Did you have him bottom? I had him bottom.
I had them 19th. Wait, I think
I don't think I had them bottom.
Fulham. I had them. Oh no, I had Fulham 20th. Never mind. Yeah, I did have them bottom. It's how
All right, I think
you had them
average.
19th. Joey had Fulham 15th.
I had 15th. I don't know. I was so hyped when they won the championship game, the playoff final. I was so hyped. That's why I gave him 15.
No, yeah, but again, it's championship.
Yeah, I should have took that into account.
It's
yeah.
mean,
I think we should.
I've heard from some
I think we should move on to
Oh, yeah,
to
no,
Crystal
sure.
Palace Southampton.
I only watched the highlights of this game. I fell asleep.
All right.
I got up
Yeah,
way too
no.
early.
I watched that game. It really wasn't the most entertaining. I came in for the second half, so I missed the first half and Palace's goal. But when I came in for the second half, it was relatively an even game. It was going back and forth. But Southampton never got any clear opportunities. As for Palace actually got at least 2, 3, or 4 clear opportunities in that second half.
Yes,
Until
Southampton
the very
had
end.
the highest possession out of any team this weekend, 71%, and they only produced 5 shots on target.
Yeah.
So they're just passing around the back.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
They kept switching, going
What was the
diagonal.
score?
Didn't
1-0 didn't work
Crystal
most of the
Palace.
time.
Damn.
Someone you would know, Wilfred Zaha scored. It was a pretty
Yeah.
nice, it was a pretty nice finish as well.
Yeah, I thought it was important for him to get started early, and obviously you can't get earlier than the first game. And it was a pretty nice finish. Is an understatement. That was that was harder than it looks because it was on the volley too.
That was a really
And he
solid
squeezed
finish.
it in the near post.
Yeah. How did Ebreche Eze play in the 10 minutes he played?
He didn't do much. He had a good take-ons though. He started playing. He came on for the left mid and he destroyed Kyle Walker-Peters at least twice. Destroyed. He had he had Walker-Peters on the floor. I'm not even joking.
Where'd they get Eze from?
QPR.
Championship.
Do we know anything about him?
Yeah, he's a solid player.
I mean, I've heard about it, but if you
On the rise.
I mean, I don't get championship games, so I've never fully watched him play a game. Actually, no, I think I watched him play an FA Cup game. But
I've never seen him play before that game, but what I've heard and what I've seen on FIFA is that he's based out of the center. He's quick and can dribble.
Yes, last season he had 14 goals, 8 assists.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys want to move on to Liverpool Leeds?
Oh, game of the weekend right there. Dude,
yeah, I told you guys it would be the game
amazing.
of the weekend.
Bro,
I told you guys.
You
guys said
Leeds would be
Spurs
good.
Everton.
I told you Leeds would be good, and you guys.
I know.
Me crazy. Oh my gosh.
I know you look right for now.
I look so good right now.
I want to talk about this game in depth because I actually took some notes.
You wrote notes down about it.
I feel like you two are gonna go off for this game. Me and Tyler are just gonna be here.
I wrote notes on all the ones I watched.
I'm always just here, Joey.
Joey, did you miss it?
No, I watched, but I feel like you guys have much better takes than I will, and will want to. You guys, your takes want to you guys want to talk about this game.
Oh, dude, I do. First off,
all right, take it away.
Well, we're talking about Leeds, or we're talking about Liverpool first.
Well, I would just like to make a statement. After watching the game, I believe Leeds is the best team in the league. They just got unlucky.
Lost, so.
They just got unlucky. I
kind of think I wish they won. They deserved to win that game. They played so well. Attacking wise, shout out to Klitsch, bro. What is his first name? Mateus Glitch, bro. That guy was incredible. Him and Pablo Hernandez on the ball in the midfield, so well. So played amazing, and even that whole team, they were so class. I was kind of shook at how good they actually played. Their attacking football was amazing, and I mean they had the one center back. Dude, he threw the game. What's his name?
Robin Koch.
Oh my!
His name isn't Koch anymore, but his name's Robin Koch from now on.
Yeah, he played well, and then he made 2 costly mistakes. But other than that, I think he had a pretty decent game. He looked their whole back line looked really good in the ball, which is really surprising. I didn't expect them to play on the back with ease. The other center back was really, really good. Struch, however you pronounce his name.
I wanna talk more about the back line in a second, but I think the biggest takeaway I had from that game, obviously, going in, we had the background of you were bigging him up on the first podcast, and you were obviously vindicated. But also obviously with Leeds, the big thing is Marcelo Bielsa. So I wanted to see like what's so special about the system. That's what everybody talks about, and I definitely saw a special system because you were talking about Hernandez and
Klitsch
and Klitsch, but I'm gonna be honest, like I wouldn't even focus on like individual players, like the way that the team played as a collective. It was both unique, and it was like the amount of pressure that they were able to apply on Liverpool was insane.
This system is similar to something I've been wanting to watch Tottenham play for a while. I love the 4-1-4-1. I know like Man City plays it sometimes when they're trying to be more attacking.
Pochettino is one of his
that's something Pochettino
is one of his disciples.
Yeah, and I loved when we played that formation. It was so fluent. Like the four attacking, it's pretty much a striker from just four attacking midfielders that are just cycling throughout. So sometimes you see Hernandez Costa at left attacking mid. You'd see Harrison cutting up at striker. You'd see them making runs everywhere. It's super, super fluid, and it creates for a bunch of amazing passing lanes due to the fact that they're all moving around at all times. And I thought
it's all about
And
I watched the video after, but I was actually able to pick up on a lot of it in the game. Not just rotation. The big thing is applying pressure, sort of like how Guardiola's teams used to play. Well, not used to play; they still play like that. I was thinking of Barca, but obviously City still plays like that.
Yeah.
Klopp's teams press a lot too. But there was just something like it wasn't just the press because teams press, and a lot of that actually comes from Bielsa, which is why Guardiola says he's the best manager in the world. Is because he's influenced the modern game so much, particularly with pressing and also with how hard teams train nowadays, opposition analysis as well. But after they press, they get out so quick. I think that's the key to Leeds. They don't just press. As soon as they get the ball, they're attacking you.
They're attacking so quick. Yeah.
And they're a very, very direct team. And
watching them play, you know what it really reminded me of? It reminded me of watching someone play FIFA, just like how direct your play is in that game.
Yeah.
They play.
But like FIFA 12.
Oh yeah, I know. It's just quick. They get the ball up the field instantly. Like it's just really entertaining to watch. That's just why the game.
And
is
normally
so back and
it's
forth.
and normally it's like an insult to say that a team is a long ball team, especially in England. But like I know they're not just a long ball team, but they use the long ball so effectively. They're not just booting it up like a relegation.
The big thing about this formation to make it work is big on the pivot role in the middle. Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
His role is so important because with those five in front of him pressing like crazy, there's so many gaps that get left behind them, and his role is to make sure he covers every single gap and make sure he's able to clean up any single ball that gets through that. And he was doing amazing at that. He made a couple mistakes defensively. Like missing a ball or stuff like that, but it's mostly because he was doing it so much and running so much that the guy was just so tired. And the balls he was playing out of the back, like the Jack Harrison goal, yeah, bro, that ball he played over the top. Oh my gosh,
pinpoint,
beautiful,
pinpoint, bro. He put it on a penny.
That was like a football pass, bro. That was right over his shoulder, right onto the left foot. Oh my.
That was Aaron Rodgers in the flesh.
Oh, dude, it was. And then he put Trent on skates, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He really did, bro. That was fun. That was fun to watch.
That was crazy.
But other than that position, which is probably the most important, another thing I realized is that their fullbacks, they push high and they're very key to the system as well.
I really liked Ailing. He was playing really good.
Yeah.
Ailing was coming up and he was like next to Jack Harrison at times.
I thought Ailing was like outstanding on both ends.
Oh yeah, I thought he was amazing. He was probably
honestly he could have been the best player in the game. Even though he didn't get a goal or assist, but he was
class.
He was a player that I kept noticing. He could have gotten assist because there was this one through ball that he played to Bamford and Bamford didn't finish it. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, it was the one where Bamford took it around the tried to take it one on the keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other fullback, Dallas, actually did get an assist. Well, I don't know if it would count because that was on the one where Van Dijk totally muffed it. Yeah. But both of their fullbacks,
I don't know what he was
doing. They don't only push high; they're clearly capable of like the key thing is that their midfield and their fullbacks are capable of playing pinpoint long balls. They're not just booting it up and like run. Like they're playing it into space and the forward players know how to make good runs and and they were doing that all game.
Mm-hmm. Another player that I was actually really surprised about, who probably won't get talked about very much, was Helder Costa. After like watching him on Wolves, I thought he was just a championship level player, but in this game he was influential as hell. He was all over the place. Whether it was pressing or taking people on, getting wide for crosses to play across the box, he was doing everything in that game. He was playing amazing.
Yeah.
And obviously Jack Harrison as well. He was.
Oh yeah, Jack
he
Harrison.
was class, bro.
That goal was
my
just...
bold take it here, bro. That man will score 15 goals, dude. Like, he looked so good, and his finish was very good as well. He just looked so confident on the ball.
That whole move. He went around Trent and Gomez like they weren't even there.
I know, like it was so class, and he just looked.
And then you have Allison in goal too. And then you have Allison in goal too, and he beat him like nothing.
No, I know, bro. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the other team in this game.
Yeah. Wait, but before we get to Liverpool though, I know we just heaped a lot of praise on Leeds, but we have to mention. I know not all 4 goals. Like if you concede 4 goals, it doesn't always mean the same thing. But I thought Leeds defensively were in shambles this game.
I think Koch was in shambles. I
don't think it was just Koch.
So, 2 of the goals were him. One of the goals was a poor clearance. And what was the 4th goal? It was...
Well, I wouldn't say the third goal
was a pen.
The third wasn't just a poor clearance, though. On the third one, they didn't have anyone marking Salah. Like, you have to have someone on Salah at all times. He was wide open.
There wasn't... Yeah, I will give him that.
And then the fourth goal was... The fourth goal was just a stupid foul by Rodrigo in the box.
Yeah. That's what it was. It was the Rodrigo.
But that happens because he just came on, and you see that every now and then when an attacker just comes on and does something stupid. But it's not just the goals, because the goals, as we just pointed out, were all had defensive mistakes.
Little mistakes that could have been fixed.
Yeah, like it wasn't the brilliance of Liverpool. Even it was good on Liverpool to put them away, because you have to put the chance away, especially that Salah goal.
In my opinion, the 2 best goals of the game were probably from Leeds. The Jack Harrison goal and the goal from Klitsch, the build-up play was just amazing. Like
that was my favorite one of the.
No, you have to have the Salah volley in there.
That was pretty.
It was pretty, but
yeah.
It came off of poor defending, is what I'm saying. The other 2 goals came off of just class attacking. I mean,
but I appreciate that finish too much, because you even said it in the chat right after. It couldn't have been more top ends.
That was so top ends.
I'll give you. For me, that was the goal of the game. I'll give you Jack Harrison, but not the Klitsch one.
Yeah, fine.
Over Salah.
I really like the Klitsch goal though. I thought it was a really nice play.
No, yeah, it was a nice goal. There were some really good goals in this game, but to stand on the defense, it wasn't just the goals. Conceding 4 on mistakes is bad enough, but the amount of times we touched on the fact. Actually, I don't think we did. They like to play out of the back and utilize Phillips a lot going forward. Mm-hmm. But the amount of times that they gave away the ball to Liverpool in their defensive third, I didn't count them, but I wish I counted. It was just over and over and over. And I thought maybe in the halftime team talk, he'd try and fix a bit of that. But it kept happening. I mean, there was a time where it ended up being offside, but the goalkeeper, who also had a howler on that Van Dijk goal, there was a time where he passed the ball straight to Mane, but literally, remember, straight to his foot.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then he tried the keeper chip, right?
Where Firmino was offside and he was running at him, and he panicked and just played the ball on the floor straight to Mane.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. Plus, I mean, the second goal too. How did I not bring that up before? Van Dijk. I didn't even really notice. You're the one that brought it up. Van Dijk had the ball. It couldn't have been more at the keeper, and he fell in the goal.
Yeah. He was just falling backwards. The keeper was questionable.
He was questionable all night. But
and you know that are the most questionable players in that game.
You know that I'm pretty sure Struck had a couple of bad balls. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure he had a couple of bad balls too.
He probably did.
But
I wasn't mostly watching the defenders passing out the back as much.
Yeah, but it was just
never
glaring to
happened.
me though.
They were getting the ball with the field so quickly that I wasn't even really focusing on that.
But anytime they were like, anytime they didn't get it up quick enough, which is what they want to do, they like panicked and it ended up in Liverpool's hands.
Yeah,
But they have Kiko Casilla too.
I did see
That's their
that.
that's their backup goalie. I don't know if yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still there.
He is.
I
He's on the
was
bench.
How bad does he have to be on the bench to that guy? Like
It's probably something to do with fitness.
maybe,
I'd assume he was
yeah.
starting after this. But
Anyway, yeah, we could talk about Liverpool. But I want to hear what Joey has to say.
I just have one statement. As the first game of the league, I feel like it's very difficult to go into a game against the last season's champions. I feel like that's a big mentality part of the game of Leeds versus Liverpool. No,
no, yeah,
That's true, but yet we're all raving about them. Like everybody.
exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Like they performed. They got 3 goals in the last season's champions in a game that they're probably stressing about, thinking in their back of their minds, even despite
they
probably
still
saying
came
that
out
don't
and
worry
played like
about it, and they
class.
still came out. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, yeah, massive respect to them for doing that.
They were definitely the story of the weekend, right?
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Yeah,
They played
because
amazing.
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, like they looked like a solid top 8, top 7 side.
They did.
They had more possession than Liverpool as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's
This is a
another
team
thing
that
too. Like,
dominates possession in every single game they play. So that's pretty
yeah,
impressive.
Yeah, but look how possession worked for what was it?
Southampton.
Southampton.
Southampton, 73
I
or
know, like
71%.
71, literally.
That's because they don't have Bielsa. But
No, yeah, it's okay. So
bro,
on to Liverpool, bro.
yeah, Joey.
Um, uh,
Bro.
but
Joey, do you
Liverpool,
still have a pulse?
yes, I do. Liverpool, they came out and it looked like oh, we're champions, like we're not gonna try. We got this game. This team just came up from the second division. They're not gonna be anything to us. And then right away they were pressing good, which led to that first penalty. But defense, the Jack Harrison goal came 2-3 minutes after that, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, we gotta step it up. And then
They scored again. 8
they
minutes
scored
later.
again with the header. They're like, oh okay, we got the lead back.
And then Patrick
Um,
Bamford
and
scored 10 minutes later.
off what that the same
Van
guys
Dijk, the Van Dijk mistake.
mistake who scored the goal.
Yeah.
And
3
then
minutes later.
3 minutes later, the ball comes down perfectly for Salah, and then after that, for a while, it's a bit of Leeds controlling possession. Liverpool still getting their shots away because they had 20-something shots, right?
Yeah.
Or somewhere in the teens. And then that build-up play for a Click's goal was nice, and then the game was back and forth in the sense of Liverpool getting shots while Leeds controlled the game until the 82nd, 83rd, whenever the
88th, even later.
88th. Wow,
Yeah.
where the unfortunate penalty call came
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
gave the current champions the game.
Yeah, so they were gonna eat him alive. I think Henderson was the worst player of the entire game. He played
Really, the
horrible.
2019-20
Oh, dude,
20 player of the season.
dude, he was horrendous. I mean, it won't show in the stats what he was causing, but he was getting outplayed by Phillips and playing the exact same role. So like the thing with Liverpool, they play a similar system, except it's a little more defensive. It's not like 4 attacking midfielders. They have 2 like center mids and like 3 pretty much attacking midfielders. It's almost what you'd call Mane, Salah, and Firmino. And Henderson plays the same role. He has to cover the gaps behind his midfielders, and he wasn't doing it at all. That's how they're getting eaten alive by Klitsch and Hernandez. He was letting them play around him over and over and over and over again. And over again, you'd see 4v4s, the 4 Leeds attackers versus 4 Liverpool defenders, because he'd just get caught behind, and they get behind him so easily. Like, he was horrendous. Like, I don't know.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you say him playing bad doesn't show up in the stat sheet because when everyone says that he's like this extremely important player and great player, it doesn't show up in the stat sheet either. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe he's just not that good and isn't putting up stats.
Well, the thing is, you can't show player positioning
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff in the stats. Is what I'm trying to say. Usually he does a good job of that, but he did not do it whatsoever today. And I told you guys that I thought Pereira was a better right back than Trent, or close to it, and you call me crazy. This man cannot
No.
defend. This
Who
man,
calls you crazy, Johnny?
Johnny, yes, bro. I think
I
Pereira was almost better than
don't
Trent.
remember that.
I was saying that I think that Digne and Pereira could both challenge Trent and Robertson for the best outside backs in their positions. And it's like, what? You're crazy. Blah, 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 blah. But watching Trent defend, oh my
Did you
God.
did you listen to the podcast back?
Yes.
Is that what you said? I could have sworn you said that.
I said
I don't know,
Digne was better
whatever.
than Robertson as well.
And you said Robertson was
said
better
that.
than you said Robertson was better than Trent. I
Yeah,
don't remember
I said that as
Ricardo
well.
Pereira being brought
I'm
up.
pretty
though.
sure I think I said something about Pereira. But
I think you did. It was probably just the fact that Ricardo is a better right back, where Trent's definitely a better
attacker.
attacker.
Yeah. He
Like in my ideal team, I'd rather have a Pereira than
I'd
Trent.
rather have Pereira than Trent. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, you kind of swayed me on Robertson over Trent.
especially after
Like,
watching that game.
Yeah, after watching the game, because
Trent
like
got eaten.
all credit to Jack Harrison, but Trent got eaten alive. Like he literally got eaten
Yeah.
for breakfast and spat out, bro.
What
Like,
shows it when they want to solidify their defense. So at the end of the game, they didn't take out Robertson. They took out Trent and brought in Matip because they knew he is the defensive liability in that team. They moved Joe Gomez outside and brought Matip in.
yeah. Plus, the thing is, honestly, it's actually a really good take that you have because Trent is kind of universally at least that's what I think. He's kind of universally recognized as the best fullback on that team because. But how much better is he attacking wise than Robertson? Like it's not even that much. He
not
had
even that
one
much.
more. He had one more assist than Robertson last year. They both have an amazing cross, and yet Robertson is much
Well,
better on defense.
The
So,
reason I
I'll-
think Trent gets up more is because I feel like Salah comes in more than Mane does. So Robertson is stuck staying back more because he's better defensively. So usually, if you're rotating which fullback goes up, or you have a CDM plugging the hole, usually they would have Trent going up just because Robertson is more sound, better defensively. So he'd be the one that stays back more. But I guarantee if they played through the left side and Mane came in more, Robertson would have just as many assists or more than Trent does. But they play through the right
Also-
side all the time.
Also, Trent takes the free kick.
I was about to
and
bring that up.
probably
Kicks
has a
and
bit more
corners.
goal, which exactly. So and that
And Van
just
Dijk
brings
scored
his
how
name
many
up more and
headers?
more.
Yeah, how many headers did Van Dijk have last year? 3 or 4?
I don't know. I don't know if it
know.
was all headers, but he had 5 goals.
He had 5 goals. So
Yeah.
I'd assume minimum 3 of those were assisted by Trent. Maybe 4 or 5. But
I don't
we're
know.
not going to be able to find the stat for that.
Yeah,
Unless we
but
really went and looked back. CBA going through all 38 games.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
no,
finding.
not right now.
Yeah.
but yeah, you swayed me on that. Actually, we could find that stat because I saw something on. Well, that doesn't matter. I'll find it later. But
We'll bring it up later.
But to go back to the first goal, Trent got eaten alive, and then Joe Gomez was out of position in the first place, so that was another issue. I heard somebody say Van Dijk was at fault somehow for that goal, which isn't true because Gomez was the one that had to deal with it. But and then on the second goal, we saw something that's more like we would be less shocked if we saw a dinosaur walking in the street, which was just a complete howler from Van Dijk.
Yeah, who knows what he was
What?
thinking?
Can anybody explain that? Like, I don't even know what he was trying to do. It looked like he was trying to control it at his feet.
I feel like he might have been trying to pass it out wide to Robertson, but it just
What are
didn't
you
go well.
thinking, though?
Who does he think he is?
Well,
Another
I mean, he's
point.
working with Van Dijk.
Another point I have on the idea that Trent is better than Robertson is because it may be because he's younger, but 2, he's also English. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, you read
Yeah.
my mind. I
Yeah, I
feel
think
like
that's
that
cool.
has such a big effect on it. Imagine if Pereira was Brazilian, or who else is there? Digne French. I mean, I guess you have that, but if Pereira was Brazilian or Pereira was another one fighting for that English right back
Well,
spot, who would
you have
get it?
another thing too. You have another thing, just the fact that you play for Liverpool and the players that
Hmm.
you're playing with, that contributes to your assist as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Digne had Digne had either 6 or 7 assists last year. I mean, obviously we can't know this, but and we'll get to Digne when we reach the Everton game. But
Yeah.
what I mean, if you swap Digne and Robertson, do you think they still get the same amount of assists? Their numbers might completely swap.
Dini
I
had
think
7.
something like that would happen. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think.
but you see what I'm saying? Like Digne might end up with 12 if he's on Liverpool. So
Yeah, I think he's
yeah.
up there. He's a really good left back. I love watching him play. And oh, that free kick he took for the goal.
Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that
yeah.
was.
We'll get to that game, but what was I going to say? Oh, and then lastly the third goal for Liverpool that they conceded. That one wasn't like completely off an individual error because that had more to do with great build-up play from Leeds. It came from Helder Costa to Click, who made a good run at the last second. But at least to my eye, it looked like Curtis Jones should have been tracking him, and he was basically just like ball watching. Him and Fabinho were ball watching, but Curtis Jones was
Curtis
the
Jones came on, and
was the
I
closest
think he
guy.
played horrible. I don't.
That's interesting because one of the commentators said that I don't know if it's the commentators or the post match crew, but one of them said like how great he was playing,
I
and
don't think
I
he
thought the
played
same
good.
thing. I thought he was playing bad.
Yeah, it came on for Henderson, and I feel like he did the exact same thing as him. He did absolutely nothing.
What position is he like known for?
I'm pretty sure he's just like a center mid or attacking mid.
Okay,
Mm.
I thought he was
But
a winger for some reason.
Yeah, well, I think he's like an attacking mid, but he can shuffle along the 3 attacking spots.
yeah, we didn't touch on any positives for Liverpool though, and there definitely were a lot of positives because at the end of the day, they won the game. They scored 4 goals. I know it was Leeds errors, but like I said earlier, Salah had to put away his 2 penalties. Salah had that great finish. Like really, just a spectacular finish. Like that could be maybe not maybe not in like top 20 goal of the seasons, but like
The
it's up
finish
there.
was very, very good. I
He
thought
was
Yeah,
Mane played
great.
really well as well.
yeah, and
Mane didn't get anything to show it. He didn't have a goal or assist, but I thought Mane was probably looked the best in that game for me.
Liverpool in general didn't actually play that bad. Like everyone was dogging on Liverpool, and rightfully so in terms of the individual defensive errors. But in general, like Liverpool, to me, were a little bit off the pace from how good they normally are. But they still played like a very very good team that's capable of getting you goals.
100%.
Yeah,
They put up so many shots. Like it's what they do.
yeah,
But
exactly.
the best teams also have the best defenses. But they were going against a well coached and attacking side in Leeds.
Yeah,
Who are they playing? Are they playing Chelsea this weekend?
Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool's playing Chelsea.
Okay, then we'll see how they fare against that new attack of
Leeds
Chelsea.
plays Fulham.
I'm not gonna
We'll
lie. I might actually watch that game because
I'm gonna watch
normally I
that. I
would.
want to watch Leeds.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't. I normally don't watch like those lower teams, but Leeds don't look like a lower team. Like Leeds are just so intriguing to me now. Like I watched like 4 YouTube videos about Bielsa after, and which by the way, in case you guys don't know, like Bielsa is a complete madman. Like he's just a weirdo, but like that's part of his appeal though. He's like like a lot of geniuses are crazy. Like that's
hmm
100% him. The man said he literally wanted to kill himself one time because he lost 6-0. Like,
Holy shit!
yeah,
He's interesting.
and he goes in. Yeah,
Very interesting. But he's a decent
yeah.
manager.
And he said it even more dramatic than that. But
Right.
and he's big into opposition analysis too. Like he goes into job interviews with tapes of every team in the league. he's a special guy.
All right, so you guys want to talk about next game, West Ham Newcastle?
Yeah. Well, just to wrap up though, just to wrap up, even though both teams played well, and that's why it was such a good game, I'm actually scared for Liverpool and Leeds because with Leeds. They were terrible at the back. Like they weren't just bad; they were terrible, and they have
Well,
to
Making
fix
horrible
that soon.
mistakes.
both of their center
Yeah,
backs their starting center backs were out injured, right?
I think Koch is going to be a starter.
I think there's a guy named White. I don't remember his first name, but
No,
last
no,
name
they
White.
no they sold White.
Oh,
He's
they
not on the
did.
team anymore.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I think he's on Brighton now, and he's
Oh,
supposed to be really good.
I have a question about Leeds.
Hmm.
Are they a team where, say, Phillips, Manchester United, some big team, go and sign Phillips? Do you think they have their replacement right now set in stone, sort of like an Ajax, or are they completely different than that? You think all their it's just through the system, I guess, through the manager. That's how the players are looking so good.
Well, we don't get championship games in the U.S., so it's not like we could watch
Yeah,
them last season and like say
Okay.
that's the issue. I mean, Phillips
Okay.
got
yeah.
subbed out.
So we have
we'll
to wait and
see if
see.
he gets injured, but we'll just wait and see what happens.
All
Yeah,
right.
and then on the Liverpool front, I mean, it's obvious we talked about it enough, but they didn't. They were a little bit off the pace. They didn't look their usual selves. We'll have a lot more to say next week when they play Chelsea, and we'll learn a lot more about them. But so let's move on to the final game that was on Saturday. We don't have to talk too much about it, but it was Newcastle West Ham. Cutter, I know you have some stuff to say about that.
Oh, Jeff Hendrick's amazing. I don't know.
Hmm.
I wasn't able to watch the game. I was at work, but
I think I
watch
You
watched
the
some
told,
of
you
that
told
game.
me you watched that game.
no. Well, I watched the highlights of it.
Hmm.
I wasn't able to watch the entire game though. I watched like the 12-minute NBC highlights, so I pretty much watched the game. You know.
I was in and out of watching it while I was doing something else, but I heard all the commentary, and what it seemed like was that West Ham were back to like mid-season West Ham last year when they were like hopeless and in the relegation zone, and Newcastle looked like what we were talking about last episode, what they could be. Newcastle were actually like pretty dominant over the whole game. Callum Wilson got his first goal. That's extremely good for that team because he's going
Huge.
to be important. They need goals out of him.
Jeff Hendrick got a
Um,
goal and an assist.
Jeff Hendrick not a goal and assist. He got an assist and a banger.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
goal
great finish.
that goal was incredible.
Jeff
Yeah,
Hendrick
but
is an animal.
yeah, we don't have to talk too much about this game because we didn't really watch it.
I
But
don't really
you
watch it. I
guys have
can't really
anything
say much
else?
about it.
Yeah, no, I have
Yeah,
nothing to say. I know at the beginning of the game, I think West Ham hit the crossbar post once or twice. They had their chances, but when the second half came around, Newcastle took the game over.
yeah. So they were
Bona had a shot on the post. Right. Yeah.
yeah. So impressive start for Newcastle and West Ham. They need to pick it up. Moving on to Sunday, we had the first game on Sunday was Leicester West
Oof.
Brom. That was a
Dude, I
Mhm.
I wasn't awake for the first half. That second half, Leicester looked so good. The football.
Wow.
That was so. Out of every game I watched this weekend, I think they looked the most dominant by far out of any team I watched.
really more than Arsenal.
Oh yeah, 100%. First half
Oh wow.
they were but second half, bro, like West Brom couldn't touch the ball. Like they would just kick it to midfield. So I refed a what's it called? I refed a U8 game last night, and
Hmm.
there was like it was 14-0, and one team completed one pass the entire 40 minutes.
14-0.
Yeah, 14-0, 14-0. Literally. That's what this game looked like. Like there was just one team just booting the ball and then losing it instantly.
Damn.
One team had the ball the entire time. Like Leicester dominated the second half. Like it was.
Your boy Timothy Castagne got on the score sheet.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on my fantasy team as well. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. Didn't count though, because we're starting this week.
Oh yeah, we should talk. We should talk about how funny that draft is.
Oh my god. And then Vardy had two
I definitely-
possibilities, but
I definitely had the best team, just for the record.
oh my god.
I mean, you tried to trade off, or you tried to get De Bruyne from me. I declined that trade like a couple
You
hours
already
ago.
sent a trade.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I sent a trade with Sebastian too. Aubameyang for Salah.
Oh
Who
man,
has
That's
Aubameyang?
Jonathan.
Sebastian.
Oh wait, you're trading
Oh no,
Salah?
I have Aubameyang. I'm trying to get Salah from him
Oh
because
yeah.
that's a good trade, right? Because he's the Arsenal fan.
No,
And
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, that's true. I'd probably
um,
take Kane for that.
we should probably move on because we don't have too much time. Vardy got his 2 goals off the pens. Not much to say about that.
I thought
Um,
Harvey Barnes and Bright looked incredible.
mhm.
They
Yeah,
were
and you
so
didn't talk
good.
about West Brom.
I don't care about West Brom. They didn't touch the ball. I watched the second half, and the second half, I don't think they had completed a pass.
Who's
Um,
worse, them or Fulham?
oh, they were worse. They got destroyed. Like, well, first half
West Brom was worse.
supposedly they were doing stuff in the second half or the first half. I mean, but I didn't watch it, so I can't really vouch for them. But second half, they didn't
Mm,
touch the ball. Fulham at least had some possession. But West Brom,
yeah.
they just, I mean, they're playing a 5-4-1. They didn't really do anything. Only people that looked decent, Robson Kanu had one shot, and it was from like 40 yards off. I don't know why he shot it when it was like a 2v2, and he just shot it for some reason.
Yeah.
And Pereira looked good on the ball, but his team sucks. So there's not much he could have done. But
Sebastian just sent a.
Yeah, I
You were
saw
saying?
that.
What do you say?
Sebastian just sent a timely text because we're gonna move on now to Spurs versus Everton. But before we actually talk about the game, Fabrizio Romano just announced that Spurs are close to signing Gareth Bale.
And before the podcast, I was told Cutter this. He announced the same, or he tweeted the same thing, saying, "Sergio Reguilón bid has been made by Tottenham. The 30 million euros that Madrid won, and it also includes that buyback option that Madrid won in the contract or in the bid or whatever. So it looks like
It's
he's
a price
coming to
match
Spurs,
buyback though, so it's not too bad.
which is I think that's great.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
I don't know why United didn't want to add that
Their
to
team.
their contract or to their team or whatever, but it's great for Spurs.
Yeah. So Bale's agent Jonathan Barnett just confirmed to BBC, Gareth still loves Spurs. We are talking. It's where he wants to be.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That
So
could
that's
be
the good
huge.
news.
That could be huge.
That could be huge, but going back to what this podcast is about, let's get to the sad times of Spurs fans right now in our 1-0 defeat to Everton this
That was
weekend.
the
A
worst
game
game of
where
football I've watched
just
in my
realized
entire life. It was such a horrible game. Like, if anyone watched the Liverpool game, complete opposite happened. It was just teams making sideways passes the entire time. I've never seen a game with more passes at midfield in my entire life. Like, I wonder if on who scored. If I could see the stats for possession by thirds.
I just realized I'm joined by 2 Spurs fans. I didn't even notice. So you guys can have a little
Oh
pity
my
party.
god.
as you check for that, I'll quickly just go through my thoughts of the game. Began the game was boring. No crazy shots on goal. We had one counterattack where Son squared it to Delhi, and Delhi forced a good save out of Pickford. Another attack in the first half where Harry Kane and Doherty linked up in a nice link-up play where Pickford made another brilliant save. But Everton had their chances too. Richarlison missed a huge chance. I don't know how. Probably got to his head. But neither of those teams deserved the 3 points. James, let me tell you, looked very well. He could be a force to be reckoned with in the future of the Prem.
That's interesting.
I think he did well. What else do I have to say about that?
Well,
Tanguy
you say-
on.
it, but one thing.
All right, let me
before
talk.
we get to Tottenham, real quick, Everton. Shout out to Alan, bro. He was insane. He was my man of the match. Him and Richarlison, they were crazy good. Alan literally, I don't know how many tackles he completed, but I mean I can look that up real quick. But he was everywhere. Like he looked. Who was I talking about earlier? I said couldn't pass the ball.
Henderson.
No, it was Tierney. He was like Tierney,
Oh.
except better in the sense that he was winning every single tackle. Every time I got the ball, bro, like he just like kicked it. I don't know what he was doing. Like it was kind of weird. Like when he won the ball back from someone, he kind of just kick it. I was like, okay, I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something. But
Shout out that
yeah, he had
shout out that
four
Dinier
tackles,
cross.
17 duels, 3 clearances, 2 interceptions.
Yeah,
The-
going to that Dignic cross. That was
Oh,
I remember the
That
commentator,
was
Mr.
beautiful.
Arlo White himself, was just, what a glorious cross. And as he said that, I knew it. I just knew that
oh yeah,
ball was going
he
into the
said
back
it.
of the
I said,
net.
"Oh, this cross looks amazing," and then all of a sudden he scored. I'm like,
Yeah.
Nice,
Brilliant
nice
header.
header too. Nice header too from
Brilliant
Calvert
header.
Lewin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But as a Spurs fan, my highlight of the match was my boy Tanguy Ndombele. He came in. He looked relatively good. It looked like his first pass was our only forward pass of the game, and
Yeah, his first pass, and then
there was just
he like dribbled like
and
3
then
people.
and then he had a spell where 3 passes in a row
Just did nothing. He just lost
just
it.
failed.
Yeah.
But the happiest I've been in a while was seeing that guy sprint. I saw him sprint, and it made my day. I'm like, I think that means he's here to stay, and he's gonna. He will show who he is. Let me tell you. Just give him a couple more weeks, or maybe a month or two. If he gets regular first team football, he's gonna be so good, and will secure a big role in that French Euros 2021, the
Yeah.
French team.
So,
They started with Højbjerg and Winks. So both of you
bro,
would prefer Sissoko and Ndombele, correct?
I thought Højbjerg was okay. I thought Winks was horrible. I don't know what he was doing. I don't think Winks ever made a pass that went forward the entire game. Like Winks would just get the ball, turn around, and pass the ball to Alderweireld over and over again. Like I didn't really understand what he was trying to do. His who scored rating was horrible. It was like a 5.2.
Yeah, no, the first half wasn't that good, but what I'm most disappointed about is that at halftime Jose made a switch. I was very happy with the switch. Delhi for Sissoko.
Bro,
I love that switch. We changed
did
to the
like it.
4-3-3.
So that
Wait,
helped. But
it helped.
I wish
but-
Lamela came on. I don't know why Lamela didn't play because we had no creativity going forward, and he's kind of what Eriksson. I mean, he's without Eriksson, he's the next best option that we have for creativity.
But on the bright
Lo
side,
Celso too.
Yeah, Lo Celso as well.
but on the bright side, if creativity is what you're looking for, and it looks like Bale might be coming in, like
Yeah,
that might be like perfect timing.
yeah.
Put Bale in that Lucas spot, bro. Take Lucas out of there.
Bro, Joey, you finally see what I'm saying about it. Lucas just like gets lost in half the games he plays.
Yeah, no, Lucas isn't the best player ever.
I remember when everyone was going crazy. I said, "Why is Lucas not starting?" I'm like,
Yeah,
I
but
mean-
that's because when Lucas when he does play good, he plays really good. I'm not saying he should start because he's
Lucas is like a
inconsistent, but
B-Tech
I'm just
Salah.
saying, like people, like if you just look at like the highlights, you don't notice all the different nuances.
Mhm.
Like if you just look at Lucas highlights for Spurs, the man looks
Yeah.
like God sometimes.
Yeah, you're right. But if I could ideally, I was thinking about it, and if the Spurs ever needed to go to a 3 in the back, I would, if we don't get Reguilon, I was thinking if we do get Bale, stick him in that left mid, left wing back spot, along with Son, Kane, and maybe Deli, maybe Lo Celso in that other third role. Doing that would be super crazy for us. That'd be nice.
You're saying
But
Bale at left wing back? I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, I mean he used to be a left back, but
Yeah.
would he make the move to Spurs to play left back? I don't know.
no.
It's true.
I
You gotta keep
I
him.
would
actually.
I would love us to play 3 in the back with Tanganga,
Yes.
Dyer, and Alderweireld. I thought Alderweireld played really, really good. I thought
Mhm.
he had some issues last season, but in this game we looked pretty sound defensively. They weren't really creating chances other than the one mistake by Davies, and
Yeah.
Alderweireld has lost a lot of pace. He's 31.
True.
You can't really get on him for that.
Going back to
But I
Um,
really like a 3, like a 3. I don't know, 3, 4, 1, 2, something like that.
yeah, but when I was talking about the 4-3-3, we never really got a chance to see it in action because the foul came, I think, around the 55th minute, and as soon as Alderweireld fouled, I think, Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin, they scored the goal. So, and right after that, we put in Bergwijn
for wings, right?
for wings, yeah.
Yeah.
So that took we saw 10 minutes of the 4-3-3, and I love that 10 minutes. Like going into it more, I'd want to see more of that 4-3-3 with Højbjerg in the back and the two midfielders outside of him, Tanguy and Lo Celso, with Son and Kane up top, and that right wing we could hopefully reserve for Bale, Bergwijn, but we know with Jose it's going to be Lucas.
Yeah. I don't know. Lucas did nothing this game. He was lost. I mean, it's just shown by the fact that Tanguy had a better match rating in the 14 minutes he played.
Really? He's going to be so good. I have so much faith in that guy.
Yeah, I really like him as well.
All right, let's talk about. Oh, do you have something else?
I mean, I was gonna touch on some of the other players. Like Doherty, I thought he looked really good for going forward, but we kept getting caught out behind him because of how far he was going, and no one was covering for him.
Yeah, he got tired at the end too.
Because, so one thing I like about Sissoko and midfield too, is he's smart enough to recognize Doherty going forward, and he always covers up behind him to make sure he doesn't get caught up from behind. And Højbjerg wasn't doing that at all.
That's another reason why Jose made that substitution to give Doherty the space to go forward and Sissoko the coverage.
Because Sissoko always knows to cover. And what was not happening at all, and that was getting us beat over and over again. Which was really, really frustrating. Watching that constantly happen. That's why
Johnny, you want to go?
So good. But
Johnny, you want to go to Everton or you want to go to?
Oh, we didn't even talk about Everton. I was gonna say the next game. Yeah, just quickly on Everton, and then we'll go to Wolves Sheffield.
Quickly on Everton, I have James looked well. Their system's starting to take shape under Ancelotti. Decorte looked good. He's more of a box-to-box with Allen more as the defensive. Digny looked well, as Cutter's going to probably ramble on about. Coleman looked well, and then their center backs really had nothing much to do.
Yeah,
that's all I have.
Not much to do. I thought Andre Gomes.
I didn't hear Gomes.
Yeah, I was about to say, shout out my boy Andre Gomes. You guys were all talking trash about him, but he didn't play that bad. I thought Richarlison and Alon, two of his players in the game. I thought Rodriguez. I mean, I don't feel like he didn't have much to do. He didn't get the ball a lot, but when he did get the ball, he looked really good on it. He was playing really, really advanced, far on the right wing, and he'd cut in, and he had two close shots, one on target, one off target.
Better than Kai Havertz.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I thought he was decent. I thought he played some really good. He played some great passes due to Richarlison, who kept choking, but Richarlison looked dangerous, so I'll give him that. But yeah, we can move on to the next game.
Yeah, there were two games on Monday. The first of which was Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Sheffield.
I couldn't watch that. I was at work.
Joey, were you on that?
Yeah, I'll go on that really quick. First half, I missed, but what I've heard is that after the first 7 minutes where they scored the first, or maybe even two by that point, it wasn't even a game. But as I watched the second half, Sheffield actually looked pretty promising sometimes. They have really good link-up play through Billy Sharp, and if McBurney could get to some of the end of some of the balls that he puts in the box for him, they'd look pretty good. But they couldn't really create much. Billy Sharp was the only bright spark, in my opinion, for that game.
I think for Sheffield, I feel like they struggle against teams that are better than them, but their system works very well against worse teams. So they're always going to be there to pick up points against the Fulhams and the West Broms, but I feel like they struggle against better teams just because they get outclassed.
Yeah, I also watched that game, and I disagree with you just a little bit, Joey. You're right. What the turning point was, Wolves absolutely. Those first two goals, that's when it was kind of over, and they just sat back. But where I disagree with you is I honestly didn't think that Sheffield was that promising. I thought that they had a lot of the ball. I felt that they just had a lot of the ball because of how Wolves were playing, and I never at any time felt that they were gonna score. I mean, they probably had like one chance,
They
but
they had one chance. They had a really good play, but it didn't
yeah,
end up in the back of the net. But I like
um,
Billy Sharp. I'd probably just rate him from last season too. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
John
put that
Fleck,
out there, I guess.
John Fleck too. But and also Ollie McBurney could just get on the end of across, but like Ollie McBurney's not the greatest either. Like most of the time he's not gonna get on the end of that cross. But
Most likely.
yeah, although they do have good fullbacks, Fletcher and Baldock, they're decent. But shout out to Wolves. What a great start for them. Like to score 2 goals. I think it was in the first. It was definitely within the first 5 minutes. Jimenez
3 and 6.
when
Yeah.
when Wolves were really trying, they they looked really good. Like Sheffield couldn't handle them at all. Jimenez looked great. He had the first goal on a nice volley, which was assisted by Podence. That was a good cross too. I thought Sheffield should have done better on the goal, but that's neither here nor there. And then on the second goal, you had the Saiss finish, and then even after that, they almost got a third, if you remember, because what was it? Jimenez had
Oh,
another volley.
yeah.
Yeah,
And Seiss hit the post too.
yeah. So Wolves when they were trying to Wolves look really good. They look like they're set for a similar season to their last two.
100%.
But and where Sheffield, we got to keep looking at Sheffield and see if they can keep the
Yeah.
form. Obviously, from that game, it didn't look like
Yeah,
it,
from what
but
I've
like
seen,
Cutter
I
said,
feel like
even
Sheffield
last season,
just didn't get better. I feel like they haven't really improved. They kind of stayed with
yeah.
the same system as before. I feel like Wolves
But
got
we,
better.
we don't know if we don't know if Sheffield got
Worse.
worse or not. That's what we need to
Yeah.
that's what we need to look out for. But I know you have to go soon, but even if you go, we'll keep talking.
Yeah, you want to
We're
go to
gonna move
Chelsea?
on to the
It's okay.
yeah.
I have a little bit. I can take a little bit more time. We can go to like
Okay.
40.
Okay,
But
the last game of the weekend was Chelsea Brighton, and you guys can start. Obviously, I have a lot to say, but
I mean, you can go off, bro.
All right,
I
I'll
was at
go.
work,
I'll go
so
first. I'll be the
I know,
listener
but
for the,
yeah,
for
I
the
just want to hear you get your
yeah, yeah, yeah,
points
yeah.
first,
I'll,
and then
I'll
I'll
go
go off.
first. I'll take up a minute at most and sit back for the last 10 minutes as you guys go at it. Right,
Well, I don't know
Brighton.
if Cutter watched.
I
How
watched
did you
like
watch?
17 minutes of highlights, and that's about it.
Oh,
I was at
okay.
work.
Brighton did kind of dominate the possession a bit. They created better chances, in my opinion. They just couldn't really execute them.
Mhm.
But when you have someone like Timo Werner and his pace, you could literally just send him through balls, and it'll be a chance every 3, 4, 5 minutes. And that's where the
Mhm.
penalty came. It came off it was a Brighton mistake, I think, and he was there. Someone passed him the ball, and he drew the penalty for Jorginho to score the first one. And then as the game went on, I just saw Havertz sending him through balls. It'd be long diagonals. But it was fun. It was fun watching a guy with that pace, but it was also fun watching the Brighton right back Lamptey, I think his name is.
Yeah,
He was going off. I think he came from the Chelsea academy and he wanted to prove
he
something.
did. He did.
But the second Chelsea goal wasn't that great. It was a deflection, and then but the third one was nice. Reece James, his rocket.
No,
And
no. The second was the rocket. The third
oh,
was
okay,
the
okay,
deflection.
okay. Wow, but that was a nice goal to watch. And after that, it was the same old where Brighton tried to attack and it didn't really work for them. And it was really just a game like that till the end, and that's it with me.
Okay. Let
Yeah,
me tell you what my biggest. Oh yeah, Cutter.
yeah. I mean, well, I also wasn't able to watch the game, but in the highlights, what I watched, Chelsea didn't create very many chances, but they were clinical with their chances, and Brighton missed like 4 shots in the 6-yard box. They just kept whiffing crosses over and over again, or hitting it wide, or hitting it over. Like I was just like, I don't know what these guys are doing. Um, from what I could see, Werner looked pretty decent. Mount looked decent. Reece James looked decent. Kepa had a ball go through his hands. I mean, even on here,
Kepa's Kepa.
yeah. So there's a bunch of like little things they have on the Who Scored website, and you can pull up like both teams, all their match ratings, and Kepa has
They
a big.
put a little
They
E
put a
next to
little
his
E
name.
next to his name for Aaron led the goal, which proves that it was so bad that he literally has a little letter next to his name. But yeah, I mean, they're missing a bunch of their players. They lack creativity. They're missing Pulisic and Ziyech, Kovacic a lot. Don't know why they chose to put Loftus-Cheek at striker. I don't really understand that one that much. I mean, who did you guys have on the bench? Do you guys not have not even like a Giroud
But
on your bench?
Barkley.
no, Giroud on the bench. We had Giroud, we had
Giroud,
Tammy,
Tammy,
Barkley,
Hudson-Odoi, and they said let's start Loftus-Cheek at striker instead.
Loftus-Cheek wasn't playing striker.
They were playing a 4-3-3, right?
Yeah, he looked like a striker because they had him pushing up very far, but he wasn't really playing striker.
I mean, he's playing as the highest midfielder. He was kind of playing. He was playing
Yeah.
as Werner's partner for the most part.
No, I wouldn't put it like that. But
Well, I mean,
let me tell you,
it's like saying Firmino isn't a striker for Liverpool.
no, I think you're exaggerating it. But for me, the biggest takeaway was that Chelsea had all this hype going into the first game. I think we can all agree they were the most hyped team coming into the league in general. And I as a Chelsea fan, my expectations weren't even that high because I knew that Chilwell, Ziyech, Thiago Silva weren't going to play, right?
Kovacic,
With
probably
that,
your most important player in your team.
I didn't know Pulisic wouldn't play because I don't believe that was in the team news, but he ended up not playing because he wasn't match fit yet. But anyway, so my expectations weren't even that high, and what I got was so far under my expectations. It's not that important because they were missing a lot of players, but let's just talk about what it was. Chelsea played terrible. Particularly in the first half, Chelsea played terrible. Brighton had
100%.
yeah. Brighton had how much did you say? Brighton had 60% possession in the first half, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, something crazy like
That
that.
really think about how unacceptable this is. Like if it was Leeds, maybe you'd understand, but like Brighton having 60% possession on you, and I was watching the game. We couldn't string five passes together. Like the Chelsea midfield, attacking wise, that was really the key to why they were playing terrible. They couldn't advance the ball properly.
Well, do you know who
We
usually
had
plays that role for them? Kovacic.
yeah, Kovacic,
Yep.
who was out.
Yep.
We had Conte, Jorginho, and Loftus Cheek. Um, I know Kepa had the ball go under his hand, and we all know who Kepa is. He's terrible. The worst player in the game was Loftus Cheek, not Kepa. Loftus Cheek was so bad. Every time he got the ball, you thought he was gonna lose it. You didn't think he was gonna get it to a teammate. Like the man. And by the way, this isn't new. Like we after the Corona break in Project Restart, he actually maybe not this bad, but he looked something close to it. He was very bad after the restart, and I think it was kind of tough. Oh, he's coming off an injury, but you can't say that his whole life. Like, obviously, I'm going to give him time, but I'm not a Loftus Cheek fan, and I'm pretty sure soon I'm going to be the opposite of a Loftus Cheek fan. I'm going to be a hater.
Loftus-Cheek, stats for the game: 65% pass accuracy, 0 tackles won, 13 duels, 23% of duels won, 17% of aerial duels run.
My lord.
0 block shots, 0 interceptions, 0 clearances. He only completed 17 passes.
17
Yep. He had 0 crosses.
in 60 minutes.
Yep. He had 0 shots, 0 successful dribbles, 1 foul conceded, and 2 fouls won. He literally did absolutely nothing.
He didn't do nothing. He did less than nothing. He had a negative impact on the team.
Yeah.
But our midfield in general, even though Loftus Cheek was the worst of them, our midfield in general couldn't progress the ball to the forwards in the first half. Not that it improved in the second half, but it was still pretty mediocre in the second half.
Jorginho's like a slightly better Harry Winks. He just passes the ball sideways over and over again. Like,
Well, well, Jorginho is a pretty good passer of the ball. He'll give you a nice long ball every now and then.
I mean, so you guys think about Harry Winks, but 90% of the time,
Well,
the
I
ball is
wouldn't
going
know.
sideways or backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jorginho. Well, Frank Lampard doesn't rate Jorginho, so that's nice because Gilmore's out for a few months, but it's clear now that he rates Gilmore over Jorginho, and I think Kante is who's going to start in that role. But one of the big talking point that most people were talking about after the game was that Havertz didn't play well. Obviously, he's the $90 man, well, not dollar, but you know what I mean. And but
Don't worry,
I
Johnny.
don't have
We will
anything.
link his fantastic pass in the description.
No, no, we will. No, we will not. No,
We
we will not.
definitely will.
But
Oh my God, man! Literally,
yeah,
man turned, just kicked it out of bounds. A 50-yard pass. He a 50-yard pass to the linesman. Yeah, it
he
literally went
low-key
straight to the
had
linesman. I think
another.
he accidentally passed it to the linesman. That's what it looked like.
That was like that. That was like that pass from Jason Tatum to Nick Nurse. You remember that one?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, bro. That
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
wasn't Tatum's fault. That was because of the nurse. The Havertz one was just kind of, I don't know what Havertz was doing.
I can't believe.
Yeah, but
I still can't believe
not-
that worked from Nick Nurse,
I
bro.
don't know
That
how
was
he didn't
so
get tagged
funny.
for that. That was so stupid.
The thing is, Havertz Loki had another pass like that, but you guys didn't notice, so we wouldn't have to point it out. But but in general, I don't have much to say about Havertz because he wasn't really getting opportunities anyway. Like I blame the Chelsea midfield. Um, Werner was the bright spot. Joey touched on it. He Joey's take was great. Werner was it's interesting because he didn't score and he didn't even really get that good a chance. But the runs that he was making was just it was opening up opportunities for others, and it was just the perfect runs. Like he was running in the perfect channels to receive the ball and get a one-on-one. That happened so many times. And guess what? He never got the proper ball once because that's how Chelsea was playing that game. There was one particular opportunity where it was right for him to get the ball and Loftus Cheek passed it straight into the defender. The defender wasn't even defending it that well.
Yes.
He passed it straight
Yes, I
into the
remember.
defender rather than
And there was
sending a proper through ball.
was that the one where Havertz sent the first ball to Werner? Or no. There was one where Havertz. It was like
no.
there was a huge one for Havertz to make a
Yes,
perfect pass, and
and-
Havertz passed
and-
weak
and
or something, right?
His it wasn't weak. Werner was running on the left, and Havertz passed it on the right. I think
Yes.
he was
Yes.
cross-eyed this game. Like, but
Yeah, so one other thing, I just want.
wait, but there was one more.
Okay, you finish.
And then there was another one with Barkley where he ended up passing it to him, but he passed it to him so late. Which, by the way, that's Ross Barkley's signature move, in case you don't know, is holding onto the ball for 10 seconds, looking around, and then finally passing the ball.
Bro, that's how Spurs looked. Bro, oh my God, dude.
If Spurs' entire team played like Ross Barkley, then
Yes,
I
there was
feel
literally
bad for you watching that
Other
game.
than Outerroad wasn't playing some good balls.
Like you said,
Yeah.
our best creative player.
He was our best. He was the most creative player in that game.
Most creative.
Him and Son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Outerroad.
you were gonna make a point.
Yeah. So, you're saying Conte should be starting. I want to look at his stats for the game. He 3 tackles, 5 duels, and he had 6 interceptions. So he was winning the ball back a lot.
Yeah, which is what he does. That's
Yeah. But I
because
feel like there's been a lot of talk about him not being the player that he used to be. But I mean, 6 interceptions in one game. I think that's the most I've seen out of every player.
no. But the thing is, he in the position that he's been playing the position for this would be his 3rd year now if he continues, which I don't think he will, and I hope he won't because he needs to play the 6 where they had Jorginho. That's the best thing for our defense is to have him there, and it showed after the. No, it didn't show, but he needs to be in the 6, right? Because he's a defensive midfielder. We all know it.
Yeah,
But he's been playing in the 8 since Sarri came, and people have said that he slowed down. He didn't slow down at all. He's the same Conte. He's just as elite, best in the world at what he does. However, because of the position that he's in, it's not as important You know what I mean? Like when teams are attacking, the fact that Jorginho is in the position that he's in, that leaves Chelsea vulnerable in that area in front of the defense. So Conte's still doing his thing defensively. It's just that the fact that he's not playing the six, Chelsea are still vulnerable.
Yeah.
So Conte, he hasn't actually like, well, he's
Okay.
and another reason people would say that he's dropped off is because he's in attacking positions a lot more than he used to be, and he's which he's actually not bad at, but he's not like he's
It's not what
nowhere
he's known
near as
for.
good.
He's
Yeah, he's
not.
nowhere
He's
near
not
as good
supposed
as
to be.
attacking as he is at defending.
He's not supposed to play the role of a Kovacic and bring the ball up the field and play the
Yeah,
run the
he's not.
ball.
Again, he's actually not bad. Like even
His
at the eight, he's
yeah.
quite good,
His
but
role
he's
is
not one
from
of the
defense
best in
to
the
midfield,
world.
not from midfield to attacking.
Exactly, and hopefully they'll get that right. Of course, we have to talk about Brighton too. Where Chelsea was bad, Brighton was good
Yeah.
because it wasn't like Spurs, Everton, where as you guys describe it, both teams were pretty stagnant and passing it horizontally. In this game, Ch- Chelsea were playing bad and couldn't keep the ball. Brighton
We're
were
creating
saying, okay,
chances over chances and just missing
yeah,
them.
Brighton was saying, okay, we don't care who you are. If you guys are going to play bad, we're going to keep the ball. We're going to create chances for ourselves. And overall, this was a good. If you're a Brighton fan, this was a good. Even though you ended up losing 3-1, it was a good start. And the the bright spot, yeah, I mean, they missed chances, which is you have to put some of those away if you want to win games. But Trossard did put one of them away with a good strike. But
Yeah.
we touched a little bit on it. The bright spot was Lamptey. He not only did he come out of the Chelsea academy, he played a few games, or no, he played at least one game for the first team last year. And what we saw yesterday is exactly how he looked in that game. It was against Arsenal, and he looked brilliant. I was like, oh, who's this guy? I know we have Reese and Aspie, but Aspie's getting older. I was like, oh, this is like to me, I think. Well, I've only seen him 2 games, but from what I've seen, there was a lot of talk about Reese James in this game. But when I see Lamptey, honestly, I feel like he's better than Reese James. Like he's a special player.
Yeah.
And
No,
he's not vulnerable. He's not vulnerable on the defensive end either. And then going forward, he just has like a bright young mind. He knows how to look for the right man. He's energetic. Um, I mean, obviously Reese has his strengths too. Reese is an excellent crossover the ball, but I would have liked to have seen us keep Lamptey.
I agree with you. Lamptey has shown yesterday, and you said he's shown against that game that he played against Arsenal for you guys
Yeah.
that he should have stayed at Chelsea and fought for that right back spot. It even looks
Mm.
like Aspie's sort of out of the equation now. Where or is he fighting an injury right now?
Well, yeah, that's an injury thing.
Okay,
At the end of last season, we were still playing Azpilicueta.
okay. But in
But that's
games,
a competitive position. It could go either way because they're both good players, Aspi and James.
yeah, and that's a position for a game against Brighton. You would most likely see a James or a Lamptey sort of player there, right?
Wait, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
In a game against Brighton, would you rather see a Lamptey James or Aspie there?
Well, definitely a Lamptey James. Well, actually, well, Aspi is pretty good going forward too. He had like
I
5 assists
mean,
last year.
Aspie's more of he underlaps. He's not really much of an overlapping player. Which
Yeah,
with your
but
current team, he won't be able to play very well because he's playing with inside wingers like Ziyech, Pulisic, Havertz,
yeah.
Mason Mount. These are all players that are going to cut in. They're not going to take the line. So Aspie will not work out. The reason he was good because Willian was more of a winger. He's not really an outside forward or inside winger. So his interior runs were a lot better, but he can't really play within this system.
Why? Because he doesn't have the speed.
He well, the runs he makes, as I said, they're underlapping runs. So he comes inside. He doesn't go outside. Most of his assists are from the
Yeah.
top of the box. like in like a CDM type of role, like in that type of positioning, where you'd see your Kovacic sitting in like that, just outside the box, whipping it in. Whereas a Reece James or a Trent, you'd see their crosses from in
Yeah.
between the 18 and the touchline, in that type of area, putting it outward swinging crosses.
You know, a couple years back, didn't Aspi and Murata have some special connection?
Uh huh.
Yes.
I
Yes.
remember that.
Until Mariah jumped off a cliff, but yeah. Um, but I don't think that I think you make a good point, but I don't think that means SP wouldn't be able to play there. I just think that's why Reece James would probably be better suited for the role. Like Aspilicueta, he'd still do well, because
Hmm.
he can make overlapping runs even if it's not his style. But the thing is, Reece James, that's perfect for him, especially since he's actually an under. Well, I don't want to say underrated because I don't think. I guess underrated because no one really talks about it, but Reece James is an excellent crosser as well. Like he's a top crosser in the league.
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
So that could be something. So that could be something to see, the Ziyech, James connection. We didn't really talk too much about the goals, but that's because there's not that much to talk
We didn't
about.
need to
It
talk
was
about the
a
goals.
yeah, it was a sloppy pen, on Brighton's behalf. Jorginho slided it away. Yeah, you had the James banger, and then you had a deflection goal from Zuma.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then
Yeah,
I thought Brighton's was well played. They built that goal from scratch.
yeah. So going forward, I think we didn't learn much about Chelsea. If they look like this next week, if they bring in some of the players next week and they look similar, that would be a really bad omen because we talked about it in previous shows how it might take time for them to adjust. And the thing is, like they they weren't just bad. They were lifeless. Like even the second unit shouldn't be this lifeless. You know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we can go ahead and end the show if you guys don't have anything else to.
I think we're good for this weekend or
Yeah.
weekend recap. We'll probably have
Let's see.
some predictions for next weekend, and some more talk
Okay.
about
Yeah.
the season over next upcoming season overall on probably Thursday, right? That's what
Uh,
we'll plan for.
yeah, Thursday or Friday for sure.
Yeah, I don't. Are there games on Friday? I don't think there's any games Friday.
No, there's
No,
Europe.
there's
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 Europa League.
there's no games for Friday.
Europa League. Tottenham on
Your
Thursday.
Europa League's Thursday. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a test while they play. I'm pissed.
Oh, you guys play Europa League?
Yeah.
We play at we play at
This
12. Yeah.
is it round of 32
It,
or is it like
no.
qualifying?
It's qualifying because Arsenal won the FA Cup, um, and that pushed us to the qualifying rounds.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we're playing Leighton Orient in the Carabao Cup next Tuesday, so a week from today.
Yeah, all the top teams are playing Carabao next week, and the lower teams are playing it this week.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for tuning into episode 3 of the Bend It Like Bentner podcast. Like we said, we'll see you next time, probably Thursday or Friday. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Bend It Like Bentner and on Twitter at Bend It Like Bend1. Thank you.
Peace.